If you're working on board a cruise ship and you're struggling with fat loss or just general nutrition, then you're missing a few key rules. It's incredibly easy to overindulge on board. There are temptations literally everywhere. There's chocolates, sweets, crisps, burgers, pizzas, you name it, they've got it on board. Alcohol is also incredibly easy to access and it's super cheap, meaning that this is going to be one of the hardest challenges that you face on board. Not to mention being in sunny destinations every day surrounded by guests on beaches where it's frowned upon to not have a bucket of beers. No wonder you're struggling. Today we're going to talk about some rules that you can implement into your routine to give you a chance with nutrition on board. Instead of winging it every time you get hungry, start planning your meal timings and where and when you're going to eat. Most of the time you get your weekly schedule the week before and it's more than likely to be the same as the previous week. Of course, extra things can and probably will be thrown in like muster or extra rehearsals, but knowing where, when and what you're going to eat is going to help so much. When I worked on ships, I kept it simple. I knew that on Tuesdays the show would finish earlier, so I'd be able to go out into the guest area, whereas on the other days of the week I wouldn't have time and I'd have to go to the crew mess. Once you know when and where you're going to eat, you can roughly start working out what you're going to be able to eat at which restaurant. And now you can't guarantee that the same food is going to be in the same restaurants every single day, but you can definitely start working things out ahead of time, meaning that when you get to the restaurants and you see burgers and fries and all of these indulgences, you're so much less likely to eat them. There are many different food options in the many different restaurants on board, but don't overcomplicate things. If you know exactly what's in the foods that you're going to be eating, then you know exactly how to monitor and control your food intake. Now, single ingredient foods are things like chicken, rice, pasta, vegetables, basically anything that isn't mixed with sauces or other ingredients. If you're eating curries, battered or fried foods, or other foods like that, then you have absolutely no idea what's been put in them. And then you have no idea how to monitor what you're actually eating. When you eat at home, how do you eat? Do you pile your plate sky high with lots of different foods, or do you just have one meal? Take this wrap for example. I'm not having this plus a hot dog, fries, curries, all these extra foods on the sides. I'm just having this wrap. If you wouldn't do it at home, why do it on the boat? The same thing goes for what you're actually eating. Just because the guests eat burgers and pizzas every day doesn't mean that you have to too. Those guests are on holiday for 1 week, whereas you're on that boat for a whole year. Just because you can have it doesn't mean you should. But this is where you can link it back to the previous 2 points. When you know where and when you're eating, you know to eat single ingredient foods and not to overindulge. Now you can actually plan your meals in advance. Start with a protein source. And I'm not talking chicken wings or fried chicken. I'm talking about actual lean, high quality meats or protein like chicken, turkey, fish, or lentils. Once you have that, think about what you'd have with it if you're cooking for yourself back home. Basically what I'm trying to say is that you wouldn't have salmon with a side of nachos. The next thing is to add a carb, and I'm not talking about fries because I know how tempting they are. Now there is a time and place for them, but they shouldn't be in your diet every single day. Choose pasta, rice, or bagels or wraps if they have them. After that, plan to have a healthy portion of vegetables. Aim for 5 fruit and veg every single day. So now you actually have a normal looking meal with high quality meats, healthy carbs for fuel, fruit, veg, sauce so it doesn't feel bland. This is a balanced meal. And the beauty is that you can eat like this anywhere on board, in the mess, guest buffet, even off in port. Start with your protein and work from there.
But that sounds boring and I want pizza.
And to be honest, this depends on how quickly you're actually wanting to lean down. If you want to do it quickly, cut those foods out of your diet in the short term, get as lean as possible, and then reintroduce some of them when you go into your lean bulk. Or if you're willing for it to be a slower process, because you still want to eat some of those foods you enjoy, it's all about choose a day in the week where you can go a bit freer. And by freer, I don't mean over the top. I just mean to eat a food that you enjoy. My favorite food of all time is pizza, but I know that I can't eat it every single day, especially if I'm cutting down. So I wait until I either really want it or if the opportunity is right. The funny thing is that when you actually limit how often you have these foods, when you do have them, you enjoy eating them so much more. You don't have to cut out these foods forever, but by limiting them, you're gonna lose body fat and feel much healthier. Now you're planning your meal timing, eating better quality foods, and eating in moderation. Your diet has changed, but your cravings haven't. Where is the one place you can go to quench those cravings? The slop chest. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically the cruise shop where you can get like snacks, chocolates, crisps, and other things like toothpaste and just little necessities like that. It's so easy to just wander in, grab something and take it back to your cabin. And I'm sure that you've said it to yourself that it'll take me a whole week to get through this bag of crisps. 10 minutes later, you're halfway through watching John Wick and that bag of crisps is gone. You've just demolished 600 calories in 10 minutes, and for what? You now feel like crap, it didn't fill you up, and you took one step backwards. The easiest thing was just not to buy them in the first place. Even better, never even step foot into the slop chest at all. If you never go in, you're never going to be tempted.
But Michael, what if I want some chocolate?
Once again, moderation. If you're that desperate for it, buy some import or buy an alternative that's actually going to help align with your goals. I always rave about protein bars, but that's because they're so good. They hit that sweet craving, give you 20 to 30 grams of protein, and they'll actually fill you up. Buy a box of these in Target, and then when you're in your cabin and you're craving a sweet treat, you have them right there. Easily accessible, tastes good, and easy to eat in moderation instead of sinking a whole box of Maltesers. Right, this video is getting quite long, and now you have all the tools you need to help you with nutrition on board. So go and start implementing these the next time you go and use the guest buffet. Start with one, and trust me, you'll be surprised at how much it will help your motivation and willpower. But if you do all of them, trust me, you will start seeing results. If you need more help on board with a fully customized plan around your ship, your lifestyle, and your goals, message me on Instagram at Michael Cruise Coach to join my one-to-one coaching built specifically for cruise performers. Right, thanks for watching. Bye.